Hi, I'm Heather Broadley, and today I want to introduce a tool, the Flourishing Process. We've been using this tool probably over a couple of decades now. It was one of the very first tools that we developed, and it's one of those things that is much easier to say than to put into practice. So the Flourishing Process is a universal tool. You can use it in any aspect of your life: work, profession, marriage, relationships with family, children. It's such a great utility tool that we use it all the time. So it's a three-step process. Again, easy to say: clarity, choice, and action. Again, clarity, choice, action, pretty easy. Of course, life is complex. This is one of those things where if you're not really sure where to start on something, first just sit and think about, where am I in the process? Do I still need some clarity? Do I have clarity and I need to make a decision? Or do I have clarity in a decision and I don't know how to get into action? So here's the deal. Every client has an area that they are best at in this process and an area that they most commonly struggle with. So I can tell you for myself, I call myself the queen of clarity. So I'm like a bulldozer if I have the clarity and I want to make a decision and move on. But if I don't have the clarity that I need, I get stuck. It's almost like paralysis. So there's some people who, like me, really need the clarity. Then there's some other people who struggle with the decision. And there's a whole host of reasons, like they're afraid of making the wrong decision. The interesting thing, we assert that decisions are inherently easy. If you are struggling with a decision, I would invite you to think about, what clarity do I still need to make that decision? It just means you need to bump back up earlier in the process. So try that if you're struggling with decisions. And then action, oftentimes it's difficult to get into action if you don't have clarity and you haven't made a firm decision, because anybody can take action, but is it going to get you where you want to go? Maybe, but it's probably an accident. So an analogy I like to use is, if I'm an airline pilot and I'm taking off out of Los Angeles, California on the West Coast, and I want to go to New York City on the East Coast, am I going to get there? Maybe, but I had to have been really clear on what that flight map is, and I had to make the decision and lock in that map. Otherwise, I might land somewhere on the East Coast. Hopefully I don't run out of fuel. But it's one of those things that are easier said than done. But keep this one in your back pocket, because we're going to use this a lot in the coming weeks and months as we explore a variety of issues. There's a link below to a one-page summary of the Flourishing Process. I invite you to bookmark it or print it out and hang on to it, because we're going to be using this process a lot as we explore a variety of topics in the coming weeks and months.